you gotta marvel at his favor. Y'all watch the text. The text says in verse 32, and when they climbed into the boat, who are they talking about? They're talking about Peter and Jesus. Both of them out on the water, and Peter sinking, Jesus lifts him up and say, you a little faith, why did you doubt? Then 32 says that they both get on the boat. And when they get on the boat, my text says that the storm died down. They're in the storm. The other disciples are still on the boat. Storm is still raging. But when Jesus gets on the boat, the storm, I mean, it's pouring down, raining. It's beating up against the place. But as soon as Jesus gets on, the text says that it dies down. See, y'all ain't marveling. Y'all ain't marveling. That's why I'm here to help you. Let me show you how to marvel. If you're going to marvel, y'all, you got to start measuring his power. You gotta measure his power. You gotta measure his power in your life. And it's hard to do because his power is so big. But you gotta start calculating this thing. You gotta start adding this thing up. You gotta start looking at 1 + 1 equals 2. And I can see these disciples on the boat. Here is Jesus. While he's off the boat, the storm is raging. But when he gets on the boat, here they are. They said, I ain't the smartest thing in the room. But when you were off the boat, we were in trouble. When you got on the boat, the trouble ceased. Now, it ain't gonna take a rocket science that I was sick before I met you. I called on you and I got, just 1 + 1 equals. And what I want to encourage somebody in here to do, you better start measuring his power in your life. You gotta marvel at his favor. You gotta be in awe of what he's able to do. You gotta bless him in the midst of him blessing you. Tell your neighbor, say 1 + 1 equals 2. Your spouse is as mean as all get out. But you prayed about that joker. One day he's mean. Wake up the next day with a new attitude. Oh, that's the Lord. Your child acting like he or she is foreign. You talking English and they talking you can't understand them, they can't understand you, but you take it to the Lord in prayer. Wake up the next day, joker talk about, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. It's the Lord. Look, you ain't got no job, ain't got no money coming in. Bills have piled it up on the kitchen table. But every time a bill is due somehow, some way, God sends some your way. You able to keep on trucking. You ain't missed a beat yet. Listen to me, it's simple. You got to start marveling at his favor. When God blesses you, you got to see his power. You got to measure that thing. But not only must you measure, y'all, his power, you got to magnify his person. I'm through. I'm going to the house, but I got to tell you, the text says that after they started measuring that thing, 1 + 1, I mean, it was raining and storming. And we were about to sink before you got on the boat. You got on the boat and stuff stopped happening like that. The text says that the disciples fall to their knees and begin to worship him. I'm gone, y'all. But if you're going to marvel at his favor, you got to start magnifying his person. I believe what these disciples understood, they understood that we don't deserve it, but he keeps blessing us anyhow. We don't deserve it, but he keeps pouring out blessings anyhow. We don't deserve it, but he keeps making a way for us. And the text says, y'all, that they bowed down and began to worship him. I've come to talk to somebody who got a storm in your life. I come to encourage you that if you see who he is in the midst of the storm and begin to worship him, he's able to pull you out of what you're in. Is there anybody here can testify that God is a way maker? Is there anybody here ever been in a storm? But you can be a living testimony that every time I turn around, he keeps on blessing me. I need some storm walkers in here today. I need some folk who ain't scared to get out your boat. I need some folk who ain't trying to be comfortable, but you know God is worthy of your praise. I need a few folk to just start walking with me. Get out of what you're in and just start walking on what God has for you. Is there anybody in the place today? No, he's able. Say it! He's able. He's able. He's able. Look at your neighbor. Grab your neighbor by the hand. Say, it ain't always been this way, but the Lord blessed me in spite of me. Say it! Yeah! Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. The Lord is able to bless you in the storm. Stop cursing the storm. Stop fighting the storm and put your eyes on the master of the storm. And watch what he'll do in your life in spite. Woo, I wish I had 2 or 3 folk in here that can say it ain't always been easy for me. It ain't been a cakewalk for me. But I've seen his hand of mercy. I've heard his voice of cheer. Just the time I need him, y'all. He's always. He's always, woo! Oh God, I'm starting to feel this thing. He's always near. Bless his name. Bless his name. Turn your storm into a blessing. The test is real. Didn't come to negate the test. What you're going through is absolutely real. It's hard. It's difficult. But the testimony has to be greater than the test. The testimony has to be, it has to be greater than the test. At the end of this, you got to be able to stand tall in front of God and everybody else and give his name worship. Give his name praise. Because he's the God of your storm. Come on, put your hands together. Give the Lord praise.